Hi, my name's Kerry. How's everybody?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good. So, what I was thinking is, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about hypnobirthing, how it works, what we kind of cover, and hopefully in doing that, it will leave you feeling more confident on what the course is and if that is the right course for you. I always like to start by just introducing me in general. I've been a nurse for 18 years now. I don't like saying that, makes me sound really old. And I don't like to feel that old. But I've been a nurse for 18 years. And I also have two children. I have an 11-year-old boy and an almost 2-year-old little girl. So in between our children, we struggled with secondary infertility and found ourselves going down the IVF route. As you can imagine, that was quite stressful and lots of stuff wasn't really in our control. So to kind of get me through that personally, I did a lot of mindfulness and relaxations and positive thinking and found that really helped. So fast forward to our amazing little embryo succeeding and me finding out I was pregnant. It seemed the right thing to do to kind of lean towards hypnobirthing. It seemed to complement what I'd been doing the whole way through our kind of infertility journey. So I did a hypnobirthing course myself, and despite the fact that I had a previous section with Finn and was classed as high risk with Bonnie, I had the most amazing, beautiful hypnobirth and still as buzzing about that today as I was nearly 2 years ago. It was just fantastic, and that feeling just made me want to share that with other mums. So I think Bonnie was about 3 weeks old when I found the lovely Hannah from Calm Births, who was providing a teaching course in hypnobirthing, and I signed up, and this is where I am now. So the course that I teach is the Calm Births course, founded by Hannah, who is a former midwife and hypnotherapist. It's a lovely course. I love teaching it. It really sits with me as a nurse because there's nothing. I know some people feel that like the word hypnobirthing can seem a little bit that we've all got tie-dye and we're doing all sorts of wonderful things like hypnotising with watches and stuff. It's absolutely not, I promise you. It's more science and common sense, which is why I love it. It's just straightforward, it makes sense, and as you go through it all, it really just clicks into place. How many of you are first-time mums, second-time mums? Who have we got in the room?
It's my first baby.
Your first baby. Okie doke. So it doesn't matter whether it's your first baby, whether it's your second or third baby, whether you've got previous experiences, good, bad, anything in between. Our goal here is to ensure that you leave feeling positive and calm about birth. So how does that work? The course is divided into different sections. So we look at the physical aspect around birth, so what's happening in your body throughout, kind of what's going on from now until birth. We cover lots of things that will help not only mums but birth partners to feel prepared and in control, so there isn't any surprises. It's fun and it's informal. We also cover breathing techniques, all the different stages of labour. We'll teach you a technique to get you through from start to finish. We talk about what you can physically do to get baby in a good position, to get everything aligned right so you can give birth more easily. We prepare your body and your mind and essentially hopefully make things easier when it comes to giving birth. We also look at practical aspects, so what to put in your birth bag, do you need the kitchen sink, what you're going to add, what's helpful, what isn't. We talk about how to get your body into labour, useful tips, hints, the myths, how many pineapples do you need to eat, we go through all of those things. When to call a midwife, because that's something that I know myself actually the real deal, compared to the Braxton Hicks, how to know when today's the day. There is an optional session where we can talk about postnatal advice. We can discuss breastfeeding. We talk about the 4th trimester. That's something you can either opt in or out of, depending on how you feel. If it's your first baby, if you feel you've got it covered because you've got extra babies, that's entirely up to you, and we can talk about that as we go along. We also discuss relaxations. So a relaxed mind is a relaxed body. If you're feeling anxious, you kind of hold tension, and in holding tension, you make things much more difficult in that sense. I always find it super fascinating that us women, our bodies are so clever that even if we were in a coma, they would be able to give birth, because you remove everything from what's going on in your head, and our bodies just know how to birth babies. They just know what to do. So a relaxed body makes for an easier birth. So we learn the process of how to relaxing your mind and therefore your body at will. Super helpful in everyday life, especially in the current situation. I find that I use my hypnobirthing techniques in all kinds of scenarios. I'm not a massive fan of the dentist, always helpful there. Breastfeeding in those early days when you're getting baby latched on, sometimes you just need to do your breathing just to help keep you nice and relaxed. Have to say I've probably used it a lot more during lockdown, especially when turning my hand to being a school teacher and trying to do homework and all the ridiculous things that the children have to do. Have to say that year 6 maths before Finn moved up to high school wasn't my forte at the start of lockdown, definitely not. So yeah, techniques for life, not just for giving birth. So the hypno bit, that's the bit that makes everybody think that I'm going to make you look like a chicken or run around the room and do something silly. Absolutely not. It's just self-hypnosis is deep relaxation. I teach you to relax. Absolutely it. Nothing weird, nothing wonderful, just science, common sense, and teaching you to relax. There isn't anything scary about being in that relaxed state. You are always in control. You are just really chilled out, and that is where we aim to get you. In conjunction with the relaxations, we also talk about affirmations. So that is the subconscious mind. If it's told something repeatedly enough, it'll accept it as the truth, and then it will start to direct your body accordingly. That works with all kinds of things. If you think about it, some people are scared of spiders, heights, some people weight loss, stop smoking. Hypnotherapy can work for all of those aspects, just by teaching your subconscious the positive elements rather than looking at why we're scared of things. Visualizations is another element that we discuss as well. So that's the same theory. Seeing is believing. We watch different birth scenarios as we're going along. We listen to other people's birth stories. We watch some amazing videos with really positive, empowering labours and births on them, to hopefully fill your subconscious with lots of lovely positive things. It's important to remember that hypnobirthing isn't just for spontaneous vaginal deliveries. It covers absolutely everything from a water birth, if that would be your ideal birth, right through to a C-section. If something was to crop up and a C-section was maybe to be planned up front, if they wanted to get, the baby might be upside down, for example. Sometimes they are. Sometimes babies have their own agenda. That doesn't mean the end of your hypnobirthing. Absolutely the opposite. Hypnobirthing applies to any kind of delivery you can possibly think of, and always helps. Lots of lovely benefits. So statistically, when we look at the statistics that are out there for hypnobirthing, it's been proven that they can shorten your labour. Many studies have proven that can be up to 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a good number, that, isn't it? Absolutely. More chance of a spontaneous vaginal delivery if you have undertaken hypnobirthing. There was an NHS study in 2014 found that the rates of hypnobirthing mums who had a normal vaginal delivery was 84% compared to 64% in non-hypnobirthing mums, which is an amazing figure, isn't it? Absolutely. You also find that hypnobirthing mums require less pain relief. There's an interesting study, and this one absolutely blows my mind every time I say it out loud. In Ontario, where they managed to reduce the epidural rate from 98% to 18% by teaching mums hypnobirthing.
Okay, where do I sign?
Absolutely. It's just, the figures are just absolutely amazing. So in the UK, there's about 55% use of analgesia among mums who are not hypnobirthing, and that reduces to 22% in hypnobirthing mums.
Okay.
Just because I think you understand the process much better, and we give you the tools so you feel in control and things feel less frightening, and it just generally creates a nicer picture. Another reason that I kind of leaned towards hypnobirthing was I had postnatal depression with my first baby, more circumstantial than just at the time. I was a single mum, there was lots going on. But to have, to undergo IVF and to have an IVF pregnancy puts you at an increased risk of postnatal depression, coupled with the fact I'd already had postnatal depression. I was really keen to try and avoid that second time round, especially with knowing that I was higher risk. Hypnobirthing has been proven that mums there was a study done with 600 women, and all the mums that had hypnobirthed, there was no signs of postnatal depression.
Oh, wow.
It really has such positive effects overall, long lasting, even after delivery. The average in this country is probably around 15% of women that would get postnatal depression. So to be able to do something that I felt in control of to help kind of eliminate that in some way was fantastic. Plus then to find that it's absolutely backed up by all the figures out there was just an added bonus, really. So not only does it help us mums to have more positive deliveries, feel more positive after birth, and generally just feel more positive overall, it's also really fab for babies. So hypnobirthing babies have been found to have the higher APGAR scores after birth. They're calmer, they're better sleepers, they tend to feed more effectively because they're just more chilled out and not quite as traumatized from birth, so they end up being more responsive to everything that we're trying to do when we've landed them in this big wide world with all these big bright lights and crazy things going on. So overall they do tend to be more chilled, and yeah, it's perfect, isn't it? Absolutely lovely. So what I'd like to do now is I'm just going to read you I'm going to do two things. I'm going to read you a birth story from one of my mums, and then I'm just going to do a little thing with you that just kind of shows you how we can harness our imagination and use it in our favour, if that makes sense. So this is a birth story from one of my mums. This is her third baby. So she says that in February this is my third baby. I already have a boy and a girl. My first delivery was entirely natural but long and tiring. My second delivery was by induction and very different but intense and quick. I was also induced with my third baby, which was very similar to my second labour time-wise, but a much more pleasant experience thanks to beautiful birth and the advice given. My induction began at around 11 a.m. It was just myself and my husband present, and I was quite excited about giving birth this time, although I admit the nerves were still there as I knew what to expect. Due to my understanding of each stage of labour, thanks to Kerry's guidance, I felt much more in control than my previous 2 births, knowing what my body was going through and when the end was in sight. My surgeries were quite irregular at first and very much like period pains. The intensity and regularity did not really start until around early tea time. This is when I began really focusing on the breathing techniques Beautiful Births taught me. I used these right until delivery. My midwife kept commenting on how well I was coping with my surgeries using this breathing strategy. I had a very small amount of pain relief and a couple of puffs of gas and air, but it was my breathing and calmness which got me through. I gave birth at 8 p.m. My established labour was literally minutes with little blood loss and no tears. The midwife said this was because I was calm and in control. With my previous induction, I lost a lot of blood, and this was due to me not controlling my breathing as well. I can honestly say I enjoyed this labour far more than the others, and I would recommend hypnobirthing to anyone. Thank you, Kerry, and Beautiful Births.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's a lovely story, isn't it? And I know she was very anxious, this mum, about giving birth. She'd recently lost her mum earlier in the year, and her mum had been present at both her births. So there was quite a big void. She knew she was going to have an induction again, due to the fact that her babies are really tiny. It was something that had been decided that with the consultant that they'd wanted to induce, and she just felt like she wasn't really in control of the situation. So obviously came to me. We went through the course, and even though she had 2 previous birth experiences completely different, she still had a really positive, amazing time with this baby, because she felt like she knew what was coming, what was next, how the pattern that birth takes, and how she could work with that rather than against it, and really focus her energy on her breathing and get through to holding her baby in her arms. Even though her mum wasn't there to hold her hand this time, sadly, she still felt it was really positive. So yeah, lovely experience.
Oh, I want one like that.
I know, isn't it? It's lovely, isn't it? Really lovely. Really lovely. Sometimes it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes babies do have their own agendas, but that's the beauty of the course. We talk about everything, from births like that to in between and anything. So you feel prepared if your birth was to suddenly deviate from your plan A. We've already discussed it. You've already discussed it and already exploring C-sections, exploring what happens if baby needed a little help with delivery, with forceps or anything. We've talked about it throughout the course, so it wouldn't be as scary. I think there's a lot to be said for thinking about things up front and dealing with them and looking at them before they're suddenly presented to you.
Yeah.
Definitely would help to keep you feeling more positive as you're going along, even if something was to deviate from plan A, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so there's no nasty surprises. And
absolutely, yeah, definitely. And I think knowledge is power, isn't it? If you can arm yourself up front. I always liken it to, you wouldn't take a driving test without having any driving lessons.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So for that reason, I think always good to be prepared. And birth, it's a once in a lifetime thing, isn't it? Birthing your baby. And if you can prepare and do everything you can to make that a positive experience, it's something you carry with you for the rest of your life. It's bringing your babies into the world. So it's good to make that positive experience. So the last thing I'm going to do is, if you just want to, if humour me, close your eyes, just relax and just listen to my voice, and then we'll chat about it when I'm done.
Okay.
So I'd like for you now to gently close your eyes, begin to soften down your body. Take 3 deep breaths now, relaxing your shoulders, breathing out tension. Just allow your belly to expand as you breathe in and relax down as you exhale. Just allow yourself to let go for a few moments now. You have nowhere else to be, just let your mind settle. I'd like for you now to imagine yourself in a kitchen. Find a kitchen in your mind that you spent time in feeling happy, content,
and relaxed. Find a kitchen that holds good memories for you. Fill in the details of your kitchen now. What's in it, how it sounds, see your favourite food cooking, see the steam rising. Now you notice there's a lovely, fresh yellow lemon on the chopping board on the worktop. Have a closer look at the lemon. You notice how perfect it is, so yellow, smooth and plump. You now realise that the lemon has been cut in half. There is a pool of lemon juice on the chopping board. You now see yourself picking up one half of the lemon. The juice runs down your fingers as you bring the lemon to your nose and you smell it. Now you bring the lemon to your mouth and you sink your teeth into it. Feel the fresh lemon juice flooding your mouth. Be aware of what is happening within your mouth now. Feel the changes taking place as more juice is released. It's time to leave your kitchen now and return to this room. Slowly bring yourself back to your surroundings, feeling the energy flow back into your body and gently opening your eyes when you're ready. How did you find that?
Yeah, it was really lovely. Yeah, it was weird though.
Yeah, did you feel anything?
Yeah, when I had to bite into the lemon, I was a bit like, I could like, yeah.
You could feel like the saliva glands and more spit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can promise you that I won't make you bite into any lemons if we go ahead to the course. But it's just to show you that, unless obviously you weren't pregnant and you're a fan of tequila, it's just to show you that that your body reacts to your imagination. So there was no lemons, but we all know that lemons are bitter and they would make us pull a face like that and produce more spit. So it's kind of for every thought and feeling we have, there's a corresponding chemical and physical reaction that goes on in the body. And what we want to do is kind of harness that imagination and tell your body that it's got the ability to stay calm no matter what's going on around you. And by that, I mean no matter what's going on in birth. There won't be any lemons in the labour suite, I can promise you that. But once we've got to the end of the course, it will make sense as to how our minds have such an influence over what's going on in our body.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So that's kind of it on my information front. I'll just quickly run through how it looks if you were to sign up for one of the courses. So at the minute with what we're doing, I'm doing everything online via Zoom like we are now. I'm doing the sessions one-on-one just because I feel doing them over the computer that we get to, it's just a little bit easy. If you've got questions, we can kind of chat and we can tailor things specific to you and your pregnancy. So the price is on the website, and the price includes the 3 core sessions, which last roughly between 1.5 and 2 hours per session, depending on how much tattooing we do around other things in between. It's very much, as much as we follow the syllabus, it's very much geared around you and your birth. It's a safe place for you to ask questions, and we can kind of direct that in any way that you feel you need. So that will be weekly, so we can choose the dates and the times. I can be pretty flexible really with everything that's going on at the minute. Evenings tend to be quite popular, so if you've got little ones, older ones, we can get them to bed and then we can settle down, or if you're off in the day, absolutely, that's not a problem. We can do some day sessions. So we would run the three sessions and get the bulk of the course done. There is the optional 4th session that I talked about at the beginning, which we can add on if that's something you felt you wanted. It also includes a little welcome pack from me. You get a handbook, you get some little goodies, mostly geared for mums and babies, but I do pop something in there for birth partners as well, so they're not left out. I'll then send you some links on to some online relaxations that you can access and download to your phone or your iPad or wherever you want them. And also, you get me from now until baby's born. We once the sessions are finished, I haven't gone away. You can email, you can text, you can ring me. I always like to do a little check-in just before baby's due, just in case you want to run through the breathing techniques as you're getting closer to due date, or there's any questions that you've got that suddenly popped up as you're getting towards the end. And that's it really. That's what you get for your included in the whole package, and that's me. So thanks for your time this morning. And have you got any questions? Is there anything?
Yeah, I mean, it all sounds really, really great. When should I do it? Because I'm only 18 weeks now. When is the time to do it?
There isn't a specific time. Most ladies just naturally wait until after their 20-week scan. But that doesn't necessarily have to be. If you felt it was something you wanted to start sooner rather than later, because you just wanted to get on top of things, and particularly in the current climate, have something to kind of focus on and go forward with, that's absolutely fine. I can take your lead on that. And you can do the course right up until probably 36 weeks. We'd be pushing it, but it would give you enough time to just about get everything in before baby arrived. But the more time you've got to practice the skills and the relaxations and work with everything that we teach you, the more practice you've got before baby arrives. Okay. So it's quite personal really, so it's entirely up to you.
And what about, obviously my partner's not with me right now, but I think they're going to take a bit of convincing. Like, do they need to come to the classes with me, or is it a good idea for them to join in?
It's a fantastic idea for them to join in. I always find that birth partners are the more sceptical ones. I completely understand. My husband was the same. But I also find that once we've gone, if you can persuade them to turn up for the first one, once they've kind of listened and they've realised that I'm not a crazy hippie lady with crystals and stopwatches and chickens, then and they realise that it is quite science and common sense, and it's logical, and it's not weird and wonderful, you find that they stay for all of the sessions. And they're always the ones in the feedback that just equally really enjoyed it and find that they get a lot from it. So they might pretend that they're not into it, but actually, in the grand scheme of things, they do end up getting a lot from it. And in turn, they can then obviously support you with what we've learned. If they were absolutely dead against it, you can relay some of the things that we teach you to it, but it is really nice if you can get them to join it. And like I say, if you can get them to come to the first one, they generally rock up for them all.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'm sure I can manage that. Yeah.
Manage that. Fab.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks so much. I'll go and have a chat and see if it's something that we can do, and then what should I do if I want to book on?
If you want to book on, there is some dates already set up on my website for over the next month or so. If there is a date on and a time on there that fits perfectly, absolutely, you can just you can do one of those, complete the booking form, that comes direct to me. If there's something that doesn't quite fit and you're looking for a different day or a time, if you email me from the website, we can chat and we can work out what fits in and come up with something that's right for you. But I'll follow up in a couple of days anyway with an email. But if there is any more questions or anything that I can help with, please just drop me a line, and hopefully I can answer those for you.
Oh, great. All right. Well, thanks very much.
You're very welcome. No problem.
It's nice to meet you.
And you. Bye-bye now.